Hello everybody, happy Friday! I am so excited to be here tonight talking to you about such an important topic that has the most controversial discussions going on in the world of nutrition. So let me make sure that I am live and then we will get started. But as you're coming in, let me know where you're watching from and what you think. The question is, do carbs make us fat? Want to know yes or no? What do you guys think? Okay, let's see here. Looks like we are live. All right. Well, I am going to add here in the comments. Hello, trees. How are you? Welcome. I'm gonna put in the link so that you guys can join my group if you haven't done it yet. Working on both sides, the computer and the phone, and I'm trying to see how this works today. Okay, there it is. Pin. Okay, perfect. Well, welcome everybody. Some of you are probably out having dinner with your families on a Friday night. Some of you may be getting ready to celebrate St. Patty's weekend, going out in the town with your friends. Please be safe. If you're going to drink and drive, don't do it. Have somebody drive you or grab an Uber or a Lyft or a cab. But please be safe out there. So happy St. Patty's weekend to all of you. For those of you that have never seen me before and this is your first time watching, my name is Mariel Morales and I am the creator of the Life Artist Formula and the founder of the Beautiful and Confident Movement for Women, where I help you transform, break out of that cocoon and become visible to the world. And one of the things I do is, as a diabetes educator and dietitian for 13 years in the industry, is that I am helping women go from feeling defeated and overwhelmed to feeling healthy, beautiful, confident to create that life that they always dream about and become the artist of their own life. And, you know, to become a life artist, you got to follow 6 steps. You have to be motivated. You have to accept and love yourself. You have to be resilient and bounce back. You got to inspire others with your story. And you got to learn new habits. And I have this formula that I created that applies to a lot of different aspects of your life. And I would love to be available to help you just get from being stuck in this place where you feel like your conditions, your chronic illnesses, diabetes, prediabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, PCOS are just keeping you stuck and they're controlling your life rather than you controlling their conditions and living the life that you very well deserve. So today we're going to talk about carbs and I would like to know what you think. Do carbs make us fat? Yes or no? What do you all think about that? And last week, we started on National Nutrition Month. In honor of that, I've been talking about different things regarding nutrition. And last week we talked about calories, how to calculate them, and how making a negative effect on the calories will help you lose weight. But if you are having positive amount of calories that are staying in your body, you are gaining weight. So today we're going to talk about those carbs that we think are so evil, but they really aren't. However, if we don't know how to use them, they will impact us negatively. So share this message out. Somebody might need to hear this. And let's get started. So there's few things that strikes as much fear and create as much confusion as it is the topic of carbohydrates. It's become a craziness now that everybody thinks that carbs are evil and that we should eat none of them and we should just be on keto diets or extremely low carb diets or carb-free diets. And we need to understand that carbs are still healthy items and they are needed in our diet, We just don't know how to eat them and how much to eat them, which ones to eat. And that's what we're going to start talking about. I'm going to give you 2 points today on what to think about when you're going to decide how many carbs to eat and what you should eat. And we're going to keep breaking down the carbs topic for a few episodes because there's so much to cover and I don't want you to be here all night listening to this. So in the last decade, we've easily transformed from a society that feared eating fat to now being terrified of carbs. So remember how before it was all about the low-fat diets and eat fat-free diets and everything should be fat-free. Well, now everything should be carb-free is what we are all thinking about. So something that I hear very often from my clients is, I know that if I eat fewer calories, I'll lose weight. But there's the thing. If I eat a couple of slices of bread, I know, or if I eat some rice, I know I will get fat instantly. Isn't that crazy? Is what they say. This is something, quote from a client. And I said, yes, it is. It's totally crazy because it's very inaccurate, first of all. And yet it's what most people believe. So if you know that calories in need to be calories out so you don't gain weight, then why do you think that eating some rice or some bread is going to make you fat? It makes no sense. The calories coming from whatever, if they are in excess from what you burn, they're going to make you gain weight. It's not the food that you're eating per se. Now, whether or not rice should be included in a healthy, enhancing, fat-slashing, muscle-building diet is very debatable in the industry, Hi, Marilyn, welcome. To some, such as certain followers, like people that follow the keto diet or the paleo diets, they think that rice is a demon food and it should be avoided like a plague. Let's see, seems like there's some comments coming through, but I can't see them. There you are. Hey, Marilyn, thanks for coming. So think about how in the Asian countries, Oriental countries, those cultures, their main staple is rice. And yet you see these people having very low health and obesity rates, biomarkers of health and low obesity rates, and they're usually very thin, right? And they eat rice for breakfast, rice for lunch, rice for dinner. So it's not the rice that makes us fat. It's the excess amount of carbs that we don't burn and the excess amount of calories at the end of the day. Now think about also an athlete that could eat 5 cups of rice last night for dinner, but is also close to 5% of body fat. How do you explain that? Then it's not the rice and it's not the carbs. It's how they utilize the energy from the carbs. Okay? And what they mix it with. If you think about the Asian cultures, what is the other thing that they're pairing with rice? What other amount of food is in high amounts in their dishes? Somebody tell me. What else is in that dish, in that bowl of rice that these Asian people are eating? What is there that we in American cultures and then Hispanic cultures do not add much of? When you go to get the nails done, right? A lot of those Vietnamese ladies there, Korean ladies, are having fish, exactly, right? And vegetables. There's tons of veggies in their food. It's not just plain rice. And that, evens out how they digest the carbohydrates from the rice. It makes it slow down and it makes them tolerate it. They also eat the different types of rice. Their rice is not as processed as ours. They might eat basmati rice or jasmine rice that has a lower glycemic index versus the regular white rice that we sometimes get because it's cheaper and it's the most processed one that has no fiber whatsoever. So think about how sugar, high fructose corn syrup, trans fats, high omega-6 vegetable oils do more to cause insulin resistance, diabetes, and obesity than having just rice or bread or anything like that. So it's really not the whole grain carbohydrates that are affecting us. It's those that are filled with sugar or high fructose corn syrup. You will see it on the containers as HCP, high fructose corn syrup, HCP, high fructose corn syrup, HFCP, sorry. And then, they have a lot of trans fats. They're very highly processed foods. Those are going to cause a lot of insulin resistance, diabetes, and obesity than real good carbs. But most of us don't want to give up our beloved junk foods, so we have to blame it on something, right? So white rice or bread is just very easy to target as any other. But in order to help you determine whether carbs or rice or bread or pastas can be part of your diet, I'm going to give you three-step system to determine if you should eat carbs or not, which ones and how many. But I'm only going to cover 2 steps today. You're going to have to wait for the next episode for step 3. So number 1, you need to ask yourself, do I need starchy carbs? The core problem in the industry is that trying to slot everyone into one universal diet. Not every diet works the same way for everybody. So for me, the keto diet does not work. I follow more of the gluten-free diet. That one works better for me. And gluten-free but low carb. Other people can do the keto diet. Other people can do the paleo diet. And others, because of culture or religious beliefs, they have to do vegetarian diets. And vegetarian diets are mainly carbs, okay? And a lot of vegetarians are doing just fine. It's got nothing to do with just the carbs, it's how you eat them. So intense exercise also changes the way your body processes the nutrients. And your internal physiological, metabolic, and hormonal environment for 24 to 48 hours. So when you do intense exercise at the gym, or maybe you went for a run, we're not talking about just a walk here, we're talking about intense exercise. Your body is going to be metabolizing food and changing how you react to the food that you ate for 24 to 48 hours. So that's why exercise is so important. And that's why you see that these people that are athletes, they can eat everything they like in huge amounts and still have a body fat percentage very, very small, 5%, 10%. While some of us have like a 30% body fat because we don't do much. We don't move much. We're sitting all day long in front of a computer, in front of the phone. We're driving. We're really not moving a whole lot. Therefore, we don't need that much energy from carbs. So the people that exercise regularly are going to have a different dietary needs than the ones that don't. That's why we cannot make everybody follow the same meal plan. So beyond any scientific debate, that's really just pure common sense, ladies. So the first step is, in the carb selection story, is assess how many carbs you really need and for what reason are you eating them. A sedentary person like me, like a lot of the women that just work in front of on a sedentary job and don't really have much time to go to the gym or even do much of anything out there, they will not burn through muscle glycogen reserves. Think of this as the energy from carbs. So when we eat carbs, the energy from the carbohydrates is going to store in form of glycogen inside of your muscles. So if you're only using your muscles for high intensity muscular contractions, when you're doing weights, when you're running, when you're doing really heavy workouts, that's when you're going to need to store a lot of energy from carbs in there. But if we're not going to burn, we're not going to move much, you do not need all this energy in there, because where is it going to go? It's not going to store in your muscles. Where does the excess amount of energy from carbs go to? Where does it store? See what you guys say. Exactly. It stores in your fat cells. Because fat cells don't move. They don't do really much of anything except for opening up and saying, hello, carbs. Extra stuff coming here and be part of us. We love you. But the muscles are the ones that really need these carbs for energy. But if we're not going to use these muscles, then we don't need that energy. And it will store in the fat stores. So inactive individuals who do not, they do not need to worry about replenishing their stores of muscle glycogen. The ADA, American Diabetes Association, and American Dietetic Association recommend carbohydrate levels that are very, very low. In other words, if you don't exercise, your carbohydrate needs are very much less than everybody else's. So if you're inactive, you really only need to worry about providing adequate carbs to fuel your brain and your central nervous system when you're resting, which is primarily regulated by your liver, who stores sugar as well. So when we eat carbs, they're going to break down into sugar. The body's going to store some in our muscles. And if our muscles are very small, then even less storage, right? And then if we don't have much muscle mass, then we're not going to really store much either. It's going to also store it in your liver. And your liver is small. It's not a very big organ. So it's going to only hold so much. And then the rest is going to go all into your fat cells, because the fat cells are very much available to hold anything extra that we did not get to put in our muscles or in our liver. So does that make sense? Can you see a better the mental picture of why carbs could make you gain so much weight? It's not really the carb itself, it's the energy from it that you're not utilizing. Now, could you do a super low carb diet? Of course, that's always an option. But if you do, you gotta be aware of certain things. Like once you get into ketogenic states with very, very low carb diets, you could start experiencing some brain fog. You could get very moody and very grumpy. You might even feel depressed. Some people lose sleep. They have problems with insomnia, and some men are gonna have low testosterone too. Now, am I criticizing the ketogenic diet? Absolutely not. This diet can be very good for certain people, but it's not a very good diet for everybody, and it's not a diet that should be followed for many, many, many years, because you deplete too many of the things that the carbs will provide, like vitamins, minerals, fiber, and that your body cannot get from meat and fat alone. Okay? So there's ways of doing certain diets that are very restrictive on carbs the smart way. It's not about eating a pound of bacon, a pound of butter, a pound of sour cream. It's not that. Okay, it's something else. So number 2 is, I want you to ask yourself, why should you eat these starchy carbs? Well, now I hope that you understand the only reason you need starch is for the single and sole purpose of obtaining the high-powered glucose molecules within that food. The glucose molecules are just the sugar, okay? You're going to use this for certain things. Number 1, you're going to fuel anaerobic activity. That's like weightlifting, okay? There's aerobic exercise when you're running, when you're dancing, when you're jumping. But when you're doing things with weights, you are doing anaerobic activities. This is when you break down some of the carbs that are stored as energy in your muscles, right? Number 2, another reason why you may need starchy carbs is to restock the glycogen, the carb stores that you depleted during hard training only. If you didn't deplete them because you haven't exercised in a while, and the exercise that you've done is very minimal, you do not need to restore anything because you didn't use it. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind. And number 3, it could be for triggering an anabolic or muscle building environment that offsets and hopefully exceeds the initial catabolic stress brought by intense training. So when you exercise and you do a lot of weight training, you're gonna break down muscle fiber, and you can restore some of these muscle fibers by adding extra carbs as well as protein. So the moral of the story, ladies, here is that for people who exercise a lot, the glucose chains in the starchy carbs are very important. Hey, Lourdes, ¿cómo estás? But not all the additional compounds sometimes come along with them. And if you're eating starchy carbs for another reason than to obtain more fuel for your workouts, then you're going to be eating them for the wrong reasons. And that's why they're going to turn into fat, and they're going to store, and you're going to keep getting bigger. Okay, so we are going to be talking about why certain reasons. I'm going to be, let me see, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to be giving you 4 reasons, 3 or 4 reasons of why you're choosing carbs for the wrong reasons. But we're going to talk about that in another episode. So today I just wanted to pretty much give you an introduction to carbs, why we need them, who needs them more, and why is it that most of us don't need that many carbohydrates. But that doesn't mean that we have to be on keto diets, on paleo diets, on severely low carb diets. It means we have to choose the carbs the right way in the amounts that we actually burn and need for each person according to their physical activity level. Sorry, my brain is a little backwards today. Physical activity level and their dietary needs. Okay, so it will be very individualized for everybody. If you ever need some individual coaching because you need to control some type of illness that is involving carbohydrate metabolism, like diabetes or pre-diabetes, you can always message me, as I have a group coaching program and I also have a one-on-one coaching program. But today I'd like to invite you to be part of my community. It's a free group. It's called Future Life Artists Living with Diabetes, and you don't have to have diabetes to be in it. But it is on the pinned comment right there. It's bit.ly/VIP beauty bar, and there we do a lot more live videos. I share recipes in there, and I do a lot more motivation, and I share my story and my weight loss journey as well, and so much more. So I hope to see you in there. If you're not part of it, just click on that link and join today. You just need to share your email, answer a few questions, and then you're in. And if you enjoyed this message today and this information, please click that share button or tag somebody that might need it, or maybe send it to somebody via Messenger. And thank you so much for watching. Everybody have a great Friday. And if you watch it on the replay, just type in replay so I can say hello to you afterwards. So have an amazing Friday. See you soon.